What's up, YouTube? Mr. Lime SC here, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a survey reading. This is a survey that was posted on the Diablo 2, and Blizzard forums, and people were just kind of asking, what would you like to see in Diablo 2 Resurrected? What changes do you want? Oh, come on. Fat Bear, gosh dang it. Here. No, stop it. That's you. Anyways, so we're going to read through some of the changes, and then say why we think they're good or they're bad, and people need to stop giving bad changes or something. So we'll see how it goes here. So, online survey with the goal to find out what changes we want. 4,352 people. It's a pretty good sample size, honestly. 99 have played Diablo 2 or D2 LOD in the past. I would kind of wish 100% of the participants. I would kind of wish that was a requirement if you want to say what changes you would want. 1% of 4,352 is still like 43 people and a half. Still kind of a lot of people. All right. Inventory changes. Let's go on. Should the stash space be increased? Wow, that is very small. Let's zoom in. There we go. Yes, multiple 10 by 10 square stash tabs. 53% wanted that. Yes, unlimited stash. Only 28% had wanted that. Interesting. Yes, one 10 by 10 stash tab. So like we have in PD2, and I think POD's got that as well, and whatever. No, 6%, and I am not sure, 3%. I love that. Cool. I mean, I think this goes well. We can look at the takeaways here. Majority is for an increased stash space to multiple 10 by 10 tabs. 28% are for the unlimited stash. 10% for single 10 by 10. Only 6% are against an increased stash size. I think this is fair. And I think this totally makes sense. I would say I like the idea of unlocking stash space personally. One of the things that I really like about when I'm playing through the game in single player before I get to the end is I like having limited stash space because it makes you make decisions along the way a little bit. I think it's fun. I think every difficulty you beat, or when you get to hell and you beat hell, whatever it is, unlocking a big stash could then make sense. In single player, I would almost say having an unlimited stash be unlockable at that point actually makes a lot of sense once you beat Hell Bale, because then you might want to create like a Grail account or something like that, right? That's a very popular thing that we've seen among single player people, is having a Grail account. I have 12 characters. I max all of them out and I share all their gear and I have a big stash to collect all the stuff. I think that's awesome. I would say in single player, I think having an unlimited stash would be good as an unlockable at the end. In multiplayer, I like the idea of the multiple 10 by 10 square stash tabs more. I don't think unlimited stash in multiplayer is quite as good. But I do think in single player that could be just for the Grail like tabs, the Grail like accounts. It's just like a fun thing that I really think works well there. So I think a lot of this is people are thinking about multiplayer when they're thinking about multiple 10 by 10 tabs, and they're like, unlimited stash space in multiplayer would be bad. And I agree. I don't think that would be as good. I think going for it in just single player as an unlockable would be a good thing. Should there be a separate inventory space for charms? Yes, but charms should only work in that charm inventory, 58%. No, 30%. Yes, charms should work in the charm plus normal inventory. That's stupid. 7% of people have clearly not played Diablo 2. Because you know what happens here? You just create a giant stash. Like the whole thing just becomes a charm inventory. The thing we have to remember about Diablo 2 is if there is space in your inventory, putting a charm in it is always more beneficial when you get to the end stages. That's always going to be beneficial, right? Which is why characters are literally entire inventories full of charms. So if you allow for the regular space to also be filled with charms, then it will just also be filled with charms. And now your characters are just stupid because you have like 27 paladin combat skillers in there. And just, yeah, it's so dumb. No, terrible idea. So 7% don't know what they're talking about. We can agree with that. I actually would not like a separate inventory space for charms. And that's coming from someone who plays a lot and has the frustrations of having all of the charms. But just from kind of an aesthetic, from how the game has played, and then the decision making of until the end game, having the charms versus having the space and all of that. I know, come on, quality of life. I think it's too much quality of life. I think it's too big of a change. I think that's one of the ones that leave it in the mods. You know what? If you want the big inventory space for charms, go play PD2, go play POD. I think this one fits better in the mods. I think it's too much of a change to the core of the game, having that giant stash. So I disagree with the 58%. I'm with the 30% right here. I say no. And the 7% are just insane. Should the inventory space be increased? Yes, but only in combination with a separate charm inventory where charms only work in that charm inventory. I mean, they literally just want the PD2, POD, Median XL. I think they all have the increased space, right? No, 32%. Yes, 20% for not sure. Yeah, I once again think no on more inventory space. Once again, you're changing the game too much. I mean, I look at something like PD2, POD, these things, and I go, man, these are fun. These mods are cool. I like having the more inventory space and all these things. But I also look at them and I go, man, these games are a little easier. You know, the games don't feel quite as Diablo. I prefer playing vanilla because it has that smaller inventory. Like the larger inventory, it's too much. It's too much. The mods are there for that, but I don't like the big space. What's the point in limiting space? Decisions. Lots of decisions in the game. Additionally, when your inventory is just this giant box with everything, I mean, you can pick up everything and all of that, and 4 to 5 trips to town when you have the small inventory or an inventory full of charms. Well, why are you going 4 or 5 trips to town? You don't need to. Why do you need to pick everything up and sell it? It's like a carry weight in Skyrim. Exactly. Like you could have it be infinite carry weight, and then you just carry all of the gear, but the game becomes easier when you do that, right? Like you have to see that it's not just quality of life. It's also the game becomes easier when you make it infinite carry space, when you make it infinite, or carry weight, when you make your inventory really big. Like all of these changes are minor, but they all really can add up. That's the thing I always feel like when I play PD2, when I play POD, I always feel like, okay, but it's easier now. So I'm on the no train there. Once again, you can be on the yes train. I think a lot of people are. They play the mods and they go, yeah, that's easier. I like that. Item changes. Should runes and gems be stackable? 78% say yes, 16% say no, 6% say no. They said, or I'm not sure. They said they don't want to do this. They felt like this was changing too much of the game. If you're gonna make the inventory space or the stash space larger, this is one that I'm not I don't care, I guess, would be my answer on this one. I think having them not be stackable is totally fine to say, because you can say, yeah, that's changing the game a lot, and that's fine. But at the same time, it's stacking them isn't like, it's nothing like a giant inventory space in my mind. It's more of the quality of life a little bit of just, okay, when I go in my stash, I can just have like all my runes lined up and they're all stacks, and that's just kind of nice, you know? Obviously, there's the complications, and I think the complications is why they wouldn't do this. Because let's say you have a stack of runes and you want to put the runes into a rune word. How do you... Right? So you run into the issue of, do I need to do it like in PD2 where I have to put it in the cube and unstack a rune before I can put it into the item? Or, you know, I think there's a lot of complications. Even when I play through just shift click to get a rune off of it, I mean, that is possible. I mean, yeah, that would be a good thing. Shift click, it unlocks a slider. You can select how many you want. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it. I think this would be a fine change. I know they're not looking at doing this change because they think it's too much change to the game. But I think this one is not. I'm indifferent. Should Quivers have unlimited ammo? Yes, 50%. No, 38%. I'm not sure, 12%. Are we also giving throwing weapons unlimited ammo in this case? I think you're changing the game too much here again. I think, you know what? Leave unlimited ammo to Diablo 4. Kind of my idea. Yeah, why even have quivers? And once again, now you're just removing arrows and bolts from the game, and okay, but once again, we're making the game one step easier again. I mean, this is the everything we do. There's quality of life, and then there's never needing to worry about picking up arrows again, or bolts, or buying them, or going back to town, or any of that stuff, right? So yes, it's less annoying, but it's also easier from that. So I disagree with this. I think no is the right answer. Balancing changes. Should there be some minor spell balancing to make useless / bad spells more viable? Yes, 70%. No, 19%. 11%. I am not sure. No. I disagree with the 70% here. No, I don't think we should. They're talking about, should they make Inferno and Arctic Blast and Blaze and, you know, whatever stuff, Wake of Inferno, yada, yada, yada. I don't like this idea because this is, I think you can look at doing like a year down the line, do another kind of change a little bit to the game. But this is now starting to really get to the point where it's like changing the core of the game. It will make more builds viable though. But will it, or will it just, you're always going to have a meta. You're always going to have better builds and worse builds. But the problem is having worse builds is good in a game. And that's where what we don't see in a lot of new games is like every build is like so viable that everything just kills everything and it's so strong and all of this and all of that, right? That's one of my least favorite things about seeing like PoE and D3 and all of this stuff is so many things are viable, but they don't have like this, they don't have a really good feel to them. Like, you know what's really fun? Playing a Blaze Sorceress through normal and making it work. Like doing like a speed run of it and things like that, right? Like having skills that are just worse is good because it's fun. Like when I was playing the Zealot wasn't playing as fast as the Hammerden, but the Zealot is fun because it's not as fast as a Hammerden and it doesn't kill things as quickly. And so you back up and you play more positionally and you hit and okay, it's a little, you know. I'm not saying from a speedrunner perspective. I'm just saying it's fun to have useless spells in the game that are memes. It's fun to have skills that are really hard to play through the game. You can do a challenge run for yourself. I know lots of people that do challenge runs where they're like, I'm going to do Arctic Blast only or whatever, you know. Yeah, I know Zealot's a hardcore or a solid character. I'm just saying compared to the Hammerden on playing through. So like having builds and having skills range from not good to very good is great. And you know what? For the people who don't play this game all the time, that's fine. Then just play the skills that are good. If you don't want to play Blaze and stupid stuff, don't play Blaze and stupid stuff. Like, go play your Hammerden, your Blizzard Source, your Frozen Orbs, your Fireballs and Meteors, your Wind Druids. Like, go do all of the good builds, and there's still tons of good builds. There's tons of great PvE and PvP and all of that stuff. But I mean, like, you really got to be careful when you're talking about, let's balance everything and make all the bad skills good skills. Because then the game, it just gets not near as fun, in my opinion. Even balance. I mean, think of like fighting games. Fighting games are a perfect example. Is a good fighting game a game that has all of the heroes perfectly balanced in S tier? No. A great fighting game has characters in the F tier and the D tier and the E and the B tier, and right? Like having all of those differences. But they try to do that. They don't, though. Or it's good that they fail. It's false hope. Because fighting games always have the balance difference. And it's great as long as one character's not crazy good. Because then you get the person who comes out and picks the guy in the D tier and goes far in the tournament and develops some new strategy, and it's great. If you talk to any person who plays fighting games, they will tell you that they love that there is difference. Any pros will tell you it's great that there is a difference in the characters' balance and skill. Let me go. But like here's my guides page. It's a little, ignore the formatting. We've got our Amazon, who has bows and jabs. We have the traps in. We have a melee barb. We have a shout barb. We have a whirlwind barb as well. We have a Kixen assassin. We've got our druids for the fire and the elemental druid. I don't have fury yet. We've got necro bone. We've got a summon necro. We've got a hammerden. We've got the zealot that we're working right now. We've got the source, right? Like there's a lot of builds for all sorts of stuff. All right. We spent too long on this one. I think there could be some future shift of some stuff in a 1.15, something like that. But this is dangerous. And I don't think doing spell balancing on bad spells and useless spells is... I think it starts to get a little dangerous. It does say minor, to be fair. I agree. But you can't make a minor change to Inferno and make it anything. You know? Should there be some minor mercenary balancing to make useless bad mercenaries more viable? 72% say yes, 19% say no, 9% say not sure. Again, we're really starting to change the game a lot. This is where I really look more, and again I say keep it to the mods a little bit. Act 2 Mercenary is very meta, but that's Diablo 2. I think there could be, I mean, maybe some minor stuff, maybe some minor tweaks is potentially okay. I'm more okay with this one than this one. Should there be some minor item and rune word balancing to make useless bad items and rune words more viable? 64% yes, 25% no, 11% I'm not sure. I would almost prefer it be the other way. Right? I would rather say nerf grief down a little bit or something, which is very big changing to the game, and I'm sure a lot of people would fight me on that and say don't do that. Yeah, I don't like what I don't like with each one of these questions and everybody saying yes is this is a buff, 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 this is a buff. Once again, do you see what's happening here? Every single person is voting yes, and every single thing is buffing the game and making it easier, making it easier, making it easier. It all looks good on paper, and each change individually looks all right. And then all of a sudden you have Diablo 3 and everything's easy, and you can walk away in the middle of a monster attacking you, go to the bathroom, come back, and you haven't lost any health. Like, should we get rid of faster hit recovery so that we no longer have to deal with getting put in hit recovery? This is what happens. Every change is a buff. And this is where we end up. The game gets so easy once you make all of these small changes. Okay, so yeah. I say no, probably. Should the 6-month ladder season cycle be changed? Yes, make it shorter, each 3 months. No, 31%. I'm not sure. Yes, make it longer. I think you could go 4 months. I think would be a good time period on it. I mean, it depends if bots enter the scene or not, because bots and JSP kill a ladder really quickly. That's the problem. A ladder would actually probably be good at 6 months. If there's bots and JSP, after about 2 months, the ladder's pretty done. So I think 4 to 6 months is 3 is very short. I would want more than 3. I like the 6 month personally. Should the non-ladder rune word drop restrictions be removed? Okay. This one, I'm assuming they're talking single player. I would be cool with that. This is one I actually think, because this is just them, they forgot to check a button. You can find ladder only items in single player. You can do ladder only craft recipes in single player, I'm pretty sure. You just can't do ladder only rune words in single player. I think they just forgot to check the button and check the mark, and that was it. On Battle.net, I actually think it's kind of interesting that you play on Battle.net to get some ladder items and they transfer over. It's kind of a fun thing. So I actually would, that one I'm not as whatever about. But on single player, I would say yes. Just because there's no way to get a ladder item to there, right? On Battle.net, I lean towards no. Should the player's X command to increase experience and drops also be available on Battle.net? Oh, God. No. No. That's a hard no. Good Lord. It is the BattleNet section. They're talking about BattleNet. Oh, then no. I say no here. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. All right. Interface tooltip changes. Should there be an optional modernized spell hotkey system? What are they talking about? It is already optional and modernized. You can change the hotkeys to whatever you want. Do they want a hotkey bar like World of Warcraft or something? Because no. Good Lord. I think a Diablo 3 player made this survey. Should there be an in-game runeword / Roderick's Cube encyclopedia? Yeah, I actually agree with this one. This one, yes, 100%. Just having the ability to not go to the Ariat Summit and look it up for all of your, like, what is it to up this herder? It makes the game easier. Yeah, but you're just reading it. Where do you read it? That's the thing. This doesn't change anything. Do I read it in the game or do I alt-tab and go to the site and read it on the site? This one I'm good with. Still easier? Sure. I'm good with that one. You have to listen to Kane explain it. There you go. That's the way. Should there be an optional loot filter to make certain item drops, e.g. runes, more easier and visible? I mean, with auto gold pickup, loot filters will really not be that important. I hope people realize. The hotbar is for the console. Oh, this is... Yeah. This is for console. But no, this isn't even that. Here you have your 2 skills. That's all of your, like, character, inventory, all of that stuff. This is PC. Yeah, you only have 2 skills. What are you talking about? The one with skills was for consoles. Yeah, loot filters. I don't think D2 needs a loot filter, honestly, especially once auto gold exists. You know, I think it's probably fine, but it doesn't really need it. I would personally say no. Mods have all sorts of it, but I wouldn't be crazy against it. Should there be a kill tracker where you see how often you killed boss X and get stats of the drops? I think that'd be fun. I think it would just be fun to see how many times I've killed Diablo or Mephisto or whatever. Yeah, I think that's just a cool change. Anything like that that's just like stats analytics from the outside, that's fun. Should there be an option to toggle showing ground loot so you don't have to keep alt pressed every time you want to see the loot? A lot of people want that. Man, so many changes to this game. God, like if all these changes that people said yes on went in, I would not play Diablo 2 Remastered. I would just go back and play vanilla, 100%. Like, literally, you guys want D2R, or this survey wants D2R to just be a mod of D2. Like, this does not feel like D2 anymore with all of these changes. I wouldn't play it. I would be just, like, sick of everything. It's too much. It's too much change. Should there be an optional additional tooltip on items that shows the possible min-max rolls of the stats? I don't mind that change as much. You know, I know a lot of people like to see that stuff. That's whatever to me. Content changes. Should they add at some point more endgame content like the Pandemonium event? I'm on the yes train for this. I think that would actually be cool. That's one of the things that D2 is lacking is more endgame content. And, you know, we get to bail runs and run bail runs over and over again. So having more content, I think is cool. Hey, do another expansion. Like, that'd be sick. I think I'm on the yes train there. Should they at some point add new items, rune words, or Herogic Cube recipes? I think this would be more in line with D2 changes than what people were saying before, right? Before people were saying, let's change all the current rune words and make them better if they weren't as good and buff the skills and all of that stuff. And like, you know, like a part of Diablo 2 is that all of those old legacy things just kind of still exist. They don't go back and rebuff everything, right? Instead, with the new changes that come around, you see things more like adding in some new items, some new sets, some new rune words. I think that would be more in line with how Diablo 2 gets updated. Right. So this one I'd be more agreeable to, with, of course, the idea that really be careful with power creep. Really be careful. I mean, they already kind of botched it a little bit in the last time, right? Grief, Enigma, right? All the stuff that came there. Power creep went woo, like they did a lot. So you got to be super careful. Other changes. Should there be an optional personal loot option in multiplayer? No. Go play Diablo 3. Jesus Christ. Should there be an additional, easier way to respec? One free respec every ladder reset. You get 3 and then unlimited when you do the essences. You already get a ton. How much more do you need? You already have infinite and 3. Should you be able to open the cow level after killing the Cow King? Yeah, I'm good with this one, mostly because there is nothing worse than joining a game. Some dude goes in your party, runs around, and kills the king when you're not looking, and you're like, son of a gun. Now my character can't ever make cows again. This one I'm fine with. It was just dumb when somebody else would kill it and then it would screw you over. Should Nilithak portal stay open after completing the quest and getting the waypoint? Probably. Also slightly annoying. Once again, also fine with this one. Minor. Why not sort of thing. Are there any other changes you'd like to see that were not mentioned in the survey? Many people suggested a lot. Some are really interesting. I didn't have time to read. If you want to read, I put them all here. Let's read the summary really fast. Even though they're very controversial opinions on few changes, the majority of Diablo fans want to see most of the survey mentioned changes, even pretty impactful changes like bouncing stuff and adding new content. Okay, let's see. Personal loot would make this game better. No. Unsocket runes from rune words accidents. That's what a hell rune is for. Increased drop rate of runes. Lower requirement from Ubers. Once again, make the game easier. Make the game easier. Better and simple melee auto attack. Make the game easier. Remove stamina. Make the game easier. Transferable characters, they're doing that already. Single player. They're not going to do BattleNet. Let's be glad we're getting a remaster. True that. Make the models not totally new. What? Belt filter. Belt remembers what types of potions it has and auto refills with the same types in the same slots when you buy more. That's actually, I don't want it in D2, but that's actually something I would love in a future game. Where you can like set the potion types, like in my 1 slot I only want heals, in my 2 slot I only want juves, in my 3-4 I only want mana potions, and then they only pick up into those slots. That'd actually be kind of interesting. Quick swap gear sets. Okay, Diablo 3. Freely unspend and respec the last few levels. No. Extend auto equip rules to also cover strict upgrades. So wait, they want auto equip on gear and auto over equip? Jesus Christ. Cube can't be used for storage. Returns items to main inventory when the cube UI is closed. No, the cube is great for storage. Identify items only in town. What are these dumb ideas? Remove TP scrolls. Just play Diablo 3. Quit taking the survey. Tone down the charge bolt damage on scarabs. Make the game easier. Give act bosses a little bit of static field resistance in normal. That's actually not the worst idea. Make the game a little harder. Wow, that's the first person who wanted the game a little harder. Have non-expansion characters in gameplay. Have non-expansion characters in gameplay. What does that mean? There is non-expansion characters in gameplay. Do they think they're getting rid of it? Maybe they think they're getting rid of it. Rebalance NPCs like hell gloams. Act 6, 7, 8. Always down for more content. I like make a separate client and keep everything. I'd personally change the loot tables. For example, I've never seen a Tyrael's Might. Maybe you shouldn't. Put more specific items in specific drop locations. Nah. I don't like that idea. I don't like the loot being like specific to areas, especially not for D2. Put it in a different game. Make the drop rate for all runes the same. So finding high level runes is such a ridiculous. These are the people taking the survey. Holy crap. Maybe nerf to some abilities like Sorceress. Well, that's not an ability, but get what you're saying. Remove stamina always. Automatic gold pickup. I guess they didn't read or watch the trailer. Most enemy immunities removed from hell. Yep, there's the... I was waiting to see that one. Make the game easier, please. Native Grail support. Yeah, I like that for single player. Ultra wide, they are going to have that support. Add transmogrification. That's from Diablo 3, isn't it? Remove teleport from Enigma. Increase fast run walk on charms from 357 to 5712. Buff staffs. Buff faster rune walk on all boots. Disable absorb in PvP. There's actually some interesting ideas in there. This person clearly has played Diablo. Bro, 5712 would be insane. They don't understand how fast you can move already. Buffing staffs. I actually like the idea of staffs having some useful piece at some point in their life. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Bus faster run walk on all boots. They really just want people to run faster instead of teleport. Everybody's gonna be zoomy. Disabling absorb in PvP is a really interesting thought though. But PvP absorb is allowed in some cases, so removing stamina again. Stackable potions. Ugh. More hotkeys. You can have more hotkeys. I am not sure. It's good. Fix poison damage and duration. What do you mean by fix it? I mean, poison's just kind of a weird, weak thing, but, until you get super poisoned. Rolling system for uniques. Potion rework. Import D3 campaign story into the same engine. Well, and fix the story a little bit, but otherwise, yeah. Block the ability to buff yourself and change weapons. You would lose buffs that relied on a certain item slot. So never have buffing be allowed. You can't go and have an energy shield buff, a CTA buff. You can't swap and get your enchant buff. Just kill all. Make the game easier and simpler. More monster density. 45 times density mod. Let's go. I think the monster density is actually really good in D2. Good death animations. Ah! A way to respec would be needed. Okay, so did not play the game. Reduce monster density of monster immunes. Then increase them as more players join the game. Nerf teleport. 2-second cooldown. Wow. That would be terrible. I hate cooldown on teleport. Charges is better than that, but cooldown's rough. That also is a completely different game. Decrease level 12 conviction aura on infinity to level 6. Remove teleport. Add more magic immunes. Add cold immunes to ancient tunnels. You jerk! Curse you! Then where does the cold source? Where does she go? Nobody runs the ancient tunnels, by the way, if there's cold immunes. Literally, the ancient tunnels becomes a nothing zone. The anti-llama patch. More magic immunes is an interesting idea, because, yeah, magic has, no issues through this game. New axe. A bestiary? Oh, with new monster models? There's the charms. Melee splash damage. Jesus Christ. I'm good with that. No bots, no dupes. Yeah, I mean, if they can do that, that'd be great. Make sure mods are available. Agreed. Unsock it without losing them. Nah. What's the point then of rolling a CTA? Everybody just has a 6-bow CTA because then you just put it in, unsocket it. Put it in, unsocket it. Put it in, Unsocket it. Uh, yeah. Shift hover to view item tooltips on ground to check sockets ethereal. That'd probably be fine. That's actually like not a bad idea. Seriously, please not try my inventory. Please. Equipable glove, boots, belts for all mercenaries. Allow active mercenaries to use crossbow. Act 3 to use maces. Act 5 to dual wield, use axes and clubs. Also add Act 4 angles mercenary. It's kind of a lot. That's PD2. Go play PD2. Ease of mod support. I agree with that. My obtuse. You can buy an obtuse, an acute, or a 90-degree, a right angle mercenary. One of the three. Stop changing a classic. Bump the drop rate up a little. I'd be down. I think they're going to give us the tracking for these, actually. Oh my God. Look at how many. Holy crap. Wow. We'll just call that good. There's 85 pages of that. Read them all. 24-hour stream. Wow. That's right. 4,300 people took this survey. Overall, once again, I think it really goes to show just how very quickly all of the small changes can turn this game into not Diablo 2. I think that's the biggest thing that we really see from all of that. And I think they understand that, which is the good thing. But that's really the like piece that they mods have spoiled us a little bit, for sure. But mods are also good as mods. Like, they're great in their own ways and being able to do those things. But the classic game is supposed to be a hard game with immunities and, not being able to break them very easily and difficult to find items and runes and hard to get resistances and, like limited spaces and all of that stuff. And there's quality of life. And then there's buffing the skills that aren't as good, giving melee a better chance to hit. Like, you start doing all those things, and pretty soon, like we said before, you're playing Diablo 3, and the game is too easy. Everything is just too easy, So, I think that's a perfect summary right there when we see it. So many yeses on all those things and different things, but you're not playing Diablo 2 at the end of it. I would stop playing that game immediately. I would play for a little bit, have some fun, and then be like, yeah, now I want to play Diablo again. So, I hope that they are careful, is all I can really say. I hope that they're careful, because it is slippery right there. That is very, very slippery.